We'll trade tweets and texts, and we'll have phone conversations, get together for coffee, that sort of thing. So there's been an ongoing conversation about the importance of broadband, and I have to tell you, I think there's a lot of similarities here in terms of playing off of our established border-to-border broadband fund, putting some real money behind this. And so I'm optimistic that we're going to be able to find some common ground moving forward. And I have to tell you, I think you look at the House proposal, it's a starting point for a conversation, and we've got a month before the close of session, and I think we can fill that gap.
Well, talking about the House, they emphasize, one of the supporters emphasize the school, the hotspots and things like that. I'd like to hear from some of the senators and some of the school representatives here who can tell us how important that is.
Sure. And if I could just say, just briefly, one approach with broadband in Minnesota has been funding infrastructure that is scalable, and that's built into our border-to-border broadband fund. We're not devoting money to something that could be a flash in the pan. Rather, we're investing in infrastructure that's going to be with us for the long haul. I always joke about fiber, for instance, as being future-proof. Short of an overzealous backhoe operator, it's going to be with us for decades ahead. And that's not necessarily choosing wired versus wireless. Fiber connects our towers that provide wireless service around the state. So investing in technology that's going to be with us for the long haul has been the intent of our border-to-border broadband fund. Those are the pieces of information that we took back from our listening tour a couple of years ago and the constant conversations that have taken place since then. Nonetheless, I think it's important for us to have all options on the table. There's a great opportunity with federal E-rate dollars to maximize those coming to the state. So if we're able to maybe tailor an education-specific approach that maximizes federal dollars, I think that might be a smart approach for us.
Can the superintendent or one of the other school folks get up here and talk about that for you?
Okay. Yes, as far as the number of schools across the state, they're growing in number that are providing those one-to-one devices, and connectivity is key because they're accessing relevant, recent resources for the kids, and they're able to bring things that are really relevant and meaningful to the kids. They're able to access real-time events. A classic example was when the revolutions were taking place in Egypt. There was a teacher who was able to find out what hashtag they were using, because when they were organizing the activities in Egypt, they were actually organizing by virtue of Twitter. The teacher actually was able to use that hashtag, connect with people there, and give that kids a live experience to what an actual political revolution was like in real time.
I think, if I may, what Don was trying to get at, I think what we'd like to ask too, is what Republicans are proposing is to spend some of this money on technology that would get in the kids' hands right now, rather than wait another year or two for fiber to get connected, if not longer than that. What the Republicans are doing is saying, hey, let's get some mobile technology, let's get hotspots into these libraries that the kids can check out already next fall.
Okay.
Well, but before you leave, I would like to know,
No, please, answer. Would that be helpful?
Sure.
Yeah, on the hotspots, would that be helpful to kids in your district, for instance?
In my district is not a good example because we have already made that investment. We invested 2 years ago $3.2 million, and a big part of that went to connecting our whole school district. Our community is committed to that kind of access for all our students, and we have a device in the hands of every student K through 12.
And they have connections at home, high-speed connections?
We are unfortunate in that regard. We're accessing in excess of 90%, but meanwhile our community has stepped up. Our churches have put in public Wi-Fi's in them. A number of vendors have put in public Wi-Fi's to help facilitate our kids. Our library has upgraded their public Wi-Fi, but we still have a deficiency in terms of some of that with some of our poverty students.
So that 10%, they're behind the other students in terms of access?
They have a limited access. Yes, they are at a handicap in that regard. Yes.
Okay.
Other questions? Otherwise,
well, I just wanted to say real quickly that the affordability that I talked about also includes the smartphone access and affordability as well. So that's why it's really important to take a look at that infrastructure in a way that does build out that long term. When I said we can't wait for something new or something that's down in the future, because these students need access right now. So I have some concern about hotspot because of that, because they'll still need some kind of technological way to access it, no matter what, and if they don't have it, that's going to be an issue we'll have to take on later. But yeah, we can't wait for and invest in things that aren't going to be real long term.
So should your Senate bill have something like the House bill I think it's 7 million or something that goes to schools, whatever it is, for
I think we should,
loaning out hotspots.
I think we should use that money to make sure that we're getting funding to the providers that are willing to put in the fiber and the long-term type technology that will actually provide that access.
And just to emphasize, folks, I think with scarce dollars, we want to make sure that we're deploying our funds for technology that's scalable, that's going to be with us for the long haul, that is looking long-term in scope. And I think that's the importance of the border-to-border broadband fund, investing in infrastructure. And I had mentioned prior to this, the E-rate opportunity at the federal level. If we're able to leverage state dollars to maximize the federal return in extending high-speed internet networks to homes and businesses, mobile and wireless access is critically important, but also the backhaul that connects our towers is important as well. And so when you're looking at investing state taxpayer dollars, we want to make sure that we're investing in technology that's going to be with us for the long haul. And that's the emphasis of the Senate approach. And it's worked well in the last 2 years with our border-to-border broadband fund.
Can you spend, or do you envision spending that whole 85 million within a year? The governor had told me that his 100 million, it may not be spent within a year, but it will be around after that.
I'll tell you what, all I know is in the first 2 rounds of the grant program, we've had more than twice as many requests as grants issued. And in 2014, the Federal Communications Commission had a letter of interest process, and Minnesota led the way with $600 million of projects identified in the state. Our governor's task force on broadband estimates that it could cost $3 billion to connect all homes and businesses with high-speed internet in Minnesota. Of course, the state can't possibly do all of that, but what we can do is make targeted investments that play off of federal opportunities, allow for local partnerships, and private investment. And that's the way we continue to make gains towards that $3 billion mark in our broadband infrastructure gap, and specifically meet our state speed goals. And so I think it's important to have all hands on deck, but also align the policy so that we're investing in technology for the future that's going to be with us in the years ahead. Anything else?